Midnight to 0:30 visual. Wide shot of African savanna. Wind blowing through tall grass. Distant calls of wild animals. Narrator, calm, dramatic tone. 7 million years ago, the Earth was a very different place. Vast grassland stretched as far as the eye could see, broken by patches of forest. It was here in the heart of Africa that a remarkable story began, the story of us. This is where our earliest ancestors took their first steps on the long road to humanity. Scene 1, 0:30 to 1:30 visual. Close up a primitive ape-like creature in trees, picking fruit. Narrator, at this time, our ancestors weren't human. Not yet. They were early hominins. Creatures that walked a fine line between ape and man. Scientists believe one of the earliest known species from this era was Sahelanthropus cadensis, discovered in Chad in 2001, with a small brain, barely a third the size of ours, and a face that combined ape-like features with surprisingly human-like skull. Sahelanthropus may have been one of the first to stand upright. Scene 2, 1:30 to 2:15 visual. Transition from forest canopy to open savanna. Narrator, the climate was changing. Forests that had once dominated Africa were shrinking, replaced by open grasslands. This shift may have forced our ancestors to adapt, moving between the trees and the ground, learning to balance survival in two worlds. Bipedal walking, standing and moving on two legs, may have begun as a way to travel efficiently across the expanding savanna. Scene 3, 2:15 to 3 o'clock visual. Animation showing evolutionary timeline. Narrator, but life was dangerous. Gigantic predators roamed the land, saber-toothed cats, massive crocodiles, and giant birds with razor-sharp beaks. Our ancestors had no weapons, no tools, no fire. Their survival relied on keen senses, quick reflexes, and the safety of the group. Scene 4, 3 to 3:40 visual. Hominins foraging together, grooming, watching for predators. Narrator, social bonds were everything. By living in small groups, our ancestors could protect one another, share food, and care for the young. It was here, in these early gatherings, that the seeds of human cooperation, the trait that would one day define us, were planted. Scene 5, 3:40 to 4:20 visual. Sunset over the African horizon, silhouettes of early hominins. Narrator, we don't know what language, if any, they had, but gestures, vocal calls, and expressions would have been enough to warn of danger, share discovery, or comfort a frightened child. In those moments, the first sparks of communication lit a path toward the complex languages we speak today. Conclusion, for 20 to 5 o'clock visual. Fade to modern humans walking through a city, overlay with evolutionary timeline from 7 million years ago to present. Narrator, from these humble beginnings, a small, upright walking primate in ancient Africa, would come the species that would shape the planet. 7 million years later, we still carry their legacy in our bones, in our instincts, and in our shared story. The origins of humanity are not just buried in the past, they live within us. Fade out text on screen. Subscribe for more ancient history.